Hello and welcome to ACS Golf, and today's video has been released on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, which can only mean one thing: it is part of my Golden Oldie series. So if you're new to the channel, basically, as always, normal reviews come out every Sunday, brand new clubs every now and again come out on a Friday, and then we've got versus videos and a few other videos that also come out midweek. So do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on any of those. But at the moment, for the rest of this year, I'm doing a Golden Oldie series where basically I'm taking any clubs pre-2010 and reviewing them for the channel, which will be released the first Tuesday of every month, with the idea of these things are, yes, really cheap on the second-hand market, but are they any good, or should you be spending 20, 30, 40 pounds more and buying something more modern? Because not going to lie, from 2016, I think really there's not a lot of difference between golf clubs. You know, forgiveness has probably improved a little bit, but as for pure distance, it really hasn't, you know, up to the modern day clubs, so today's clubs. But 2010, pre-2010, I think that's a little bit of a different story, to be fair. I don't think we were there. I don't think the golf manufacturers were there at all, to be fair. They definitely had a couple more years of improving, which they did until, like I said, you got to that sort of 2016, 2017 mark. So yes, that's the whole point of the series. We're going to be taking a look back at these golf clubs and seeing if it's worth giving a go. As I mentioned, they should be avoided. So as always with these reviews, we'll have a closer look at the club, go for the technology that I can find. Obviously, as these are older clubs, it is a little bit more difficult to find the technology that's in them, but I'll do my best. Then we'll get down to the range, throw some figures at you, and then we'll come back here for the ACS Golf Scale as normal and give the overall conclusion of, is it worth picking up? Now, today is from a brand that I love, and I'm really disappointed they stopped making golf clubs. They were right there at the end of 2016, and that's Nike. Now, if you've watched my channel, I actually review quite a lot of Nike clubs. I find them really interesting. Definitely chalk and cheese, I think. A lot of people like them, a lot of people hate them. And this is probably one that the majority of you will hate, because it is a square one. It is the Nike SQ Dymo 2. So released in 2019, along the Dynamo, which is a rounder shape. Yeah, the idea of this square one being ultimate forgiveness, straight driver that's going to find you the fairway after sort of every hit. So every hit, you're going to be in the middle of the fairway. And that was the whole point of this. And the whole point of square drivers, you know, it's the way they really try to maximize MOI. Back in the day, thank God it didn't pick up, because I definitely prefer the look of modern day drivers over this. But there was a period where there were a lot of square drivers around. But yeah, so this is what we're reviewing today, and we're going to see if it still, well, keeps a promise. Is it going to find me fairway after fairway? And also, is the distance going to be competitive? We'll wait and find out when we get back from the range. Anyway, as always, as I mentioned, let's have a closer look at this club, and then we'll get back in here to go through the technology in it. So there you go. It's an interesting looking golf club, but weirdly, I feel like I'm falling in love with the looks of it. Just so odd, but I do. I am. It's really weird. Head cover, cool, quite a little head cover. Really fiddly though. So you've got magnets at the bottom. Well, it's not even a magnet. It's like a grippy thing you sort of pop into, and you've got Velcro at the top. Like, just do a normal head cover. I don't know why they sort of made that so complicated, but anyway, still looks quite cool in my mind. Now moving on to the technology that's in this. So the Dynamo stood for dynamic moment of inertia. You know, you used to have the Sumo before that, which stood for super moment of inertia. Moment of inertia, by the way, is MOI, with the idea if you hit the club face off the toe, higher MOI will keep that club face straight. You know, if you have a really low moment of inertia, if you hit it off the toe, the face will twist and your shot will go that way. So the whole point of these 10Ks at the moment is, you know, if you hit it really off the toe or somewhere not in the middle of the club face stays as straight as possible to keep you down the fairway, therefore improved forgiveness. But one thing that they did with this new Dynamo, so you know, they were fiddling around with the lie angle. It's obviously MOI, overall head size, face depth, center of gravity, etc. But they changed the weighting system inside the club head depending on the loft. So lower lofts, obviously you're probably looking for lower spin because you're getting the ball up in the air quite naturally yourselves. You know, probably faster swing speed as well, tend to play lower lofts. So you'd have more weight at the front. And as the lofts increase, where, you know, you're probably looking to get the ball up in the air, maybe a slower swing speed, you know, so therefore you want a little bit more spin, you know, the weight would slowly go further back until, you know, I think it was 13 degrees this went up to. So I got 13, 11.5, I think 10.5 and a 9. I don't know if it went below 8, not 100% sure, but, you know, 13, the weight was right at the back to help with that launch, help with that spin, but obviously, well, your slower swing speed player. So I got 11.5 degrees here. So the weighting system is probably maybe around there, the heavyweight, you know, not at the max at the back, but you know, it does move throughout the club head, which I think is quite a cool thing. I mean, they're still doing it nowadays. So I've got the Cobra DS Adapt LS in the bag at the moment, and the power bridge on the 9 degree, which I have, is close to the front for lower spin. The 10.5 degree head, the power bridge is, the weighting system's actually further back. The idea, again, if you're going for 10.5 degrees, you're probably looking for a little bit more forgiveness. You're probably looking for a little bit more launch, you know, and so they've moved the weighting system automatically. So that's what's a quite cool thing, but obviously it does mean you need to be aware of things when buying this golf club and also new golf clubs about that weighting system, which is always reason for getting fitted for golf clubs because of it. You know, you're actually not got sort of one head here. You've got, you know, 3-4 heads because the weighting system actually moves inside it. But yeah, we also have their new progressive power bridge power bow weighting that puts the center of gravity where it's most needed, which is this. That's the whole point of this here, is added weighting, you know, along the sides and the back there. To obviously along the sides here, they've got weighting along here to keep that MOI high, to keep the face from twisting, and also, you know, at the back to help with that launch. And also, moving on, they had a new stock UST wide body shaft, which I have in here still. Got the original one, SQ Dymo. Even got the writing on it, which I think is quite cool. Which has a larger overall shaft diameter, which is supposed to enhance shaft stability throughout impact. And the UST's new AXIV core material in the shaft tips will help deliver more power to the ball. And of course, head designs can be specially ordered with most custom shafts available today. So, well, at the time, sorry. So you could obviously get custom shafts for this and custom heads and go and get fitting, etc. But they actually produced a specific shaft for this drive, and Cleveland tend to do that as well nowadays. You know, they have a weighting at the back, which is specific for the club. So it's quite a cool thing. You know, they've gone to the shaft makers and gone, all right, we're producing this club. Let's produce a shaft that's going to match it really, really well. And that's exactly what they did. And that's exactly what UST came up with. So cool little thing there. So there's all the technology that I could sort of find. Obviously, this is titanium. It is 460cc head as well. So it's the maximum size at the time. Well, maximum size now. You can't go above 460cc. Yeah, and as I mentioned, it's all titanium. No sort of, you know, carbon at this time, or, you know, I know Nike went down the route of their core stuff they use in their golf balls. I've got the name of it. Oh, I can see it. I can see it because I remember the name of the golf balls. Oh, but anyway, you know, it wasn't multi-material or anything like that. It is just a fully titanium head. All right, guys, so there's the technology that's in this. Now, let's get down to range. We're going to throw some figures at you and discuss the performance of it. And we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit. Here I am down with the Dynamo. And I wanted to be quiet there so you guys could appreciate the sound of this driver. It is loud. Fully titanium square head. One of the loudest things you're ever going to hear. Now let's get into those figures. So on average, I had a carry of 226 yards. Total distance of 249 yards. Ball speed 153 miles per hour. Launch angle 12. Height 70 feet. Now, if you watch some of my videos from last year, that would have been good numbers for me. But my swing speed has gone up drastically. You know, I'm hovering now just shy of the 110. Getting over the 110 mark quite a bit, you know, and normally now 160 is the number I'm going for, and you know, distance wise 260 and above, just because my launch angle is pretty useless. So not the end, you know, so not great numbers, but I did manage to get a few over the 260 mark. I got one 262, another one 265. I did get ball speed up to 158 miles per hour once as well, but normally, consistently with this, is around that sort of 250, just below that 250 mark, and ball speed was, as I mentioned, 153 miles per hour. But the thing with this driver, it was straight. You can see with a lot of these shots, they're very consistent. Maybe a little bit of movement there, but there wasn't that much at all. I think there was one that maybe I did push out a little bit left, but that was down to me. You know, it is very much a straight driver. It's going to find you a fairway. Now, on to the numbers here. So as I mentioned, the average 226, so 226 yards carry, 249 yards total distance, 153 miles per hour. Launch angle is quite good, actually, 12 degrees. Longest 247 with a total run out 265, and then we had the shortest there 220 and 241 total distance and 151 miles per hour. Not a great hit there. That was completely on me. But again, you know, if I'm getting 250 and I'm straight down the middle of the fairway, I will take that any day of the week rather than being 270 odds and in the bushes. So there you go, and not bad at all, to be fair. I mean, if you watched my videos last year, I was swinging a lot slower than I am now. Sort of normally around the 98 mark. Now I'm sort of topping out over 110, probably averaging around 107, 108. I think on this day I was probably more around that 110. So, you know, last year when I was, you know, my launch angle, by the way, is awful, always has been, especially if you see my swing, closer club face, get it straight down the middle, but not that high floaty flight that you need really for your driver to maximise distance. But no, I was always saying last year 250 for me is great. And that's what this was. So yes, nowadays I'm more 260 plus, but at least it got to 250. I mean, ball speed average 153 miles per hour. You know, my LS, the Cobra I was taking at the time, and now more around that 160 mark and above. So, all right, there is a little bit of a drop down there, but you know, carry 226 yards, total distance 249 yards, ball speed 153 miles per hour, launch angle 12, height 70. Did feel like it span up maybe a little bit. You know, this is 11.5 degree head, probably with my swing speed. Still got a stiff shaft in it. Probably my swing speed maybe would want the 9 degree, I would say. But, you know, when I really got it right, you know, 247 was the longest carry, that is 265 total distance, ball speed 154 miles per hour. Managed to get a ball speed up to 158 miles per hour. So not that bad. I mean, shortest on the day was 220 carry, 241 total distance, the ball speed 151 miles per hour. That's just really me doing a really quite bad shot, to be fair. Nothing about the club. I could have done that with any club on this given earth. So there you go. But obviously, a more modern club maybe would have got me to 250. Well, probably would have got me to 250 and a little bit more, I would say. But averaging really, as you say, that 249. Hit a few times I got 260, but I was more in that sort of 240s, you know, close to that 250 mark on average. But not bad, because I had a lot of confidence hitting this, to be fair. I found it fun. I found relatively everything was straight. There was a few shots where I really just hooked it left, but that was for me. That was when I really went for it. Obviously, deflection quite there for that. And that is my bad shot. You know, I was out playing a competition, amateur competition this weekend with my Cobra DS, and tried to put everything on it. Open fairway, you could go right or left. Doesn't matter. You'll have a shot on the green. And I did exactly that. Just hit it straight left, because that's what happens when I really go for it. So it doesn't matter what driver I got in my hand. If I do that side swing, it happens. So nothing against that. But when I was swinging fluidly, normally, you know, just going through the motions, I had a lot of confidence with this. A lot of confidence. I felt it was finding me fairway after fairway after fairway. I was really, really impressed by that. But let's get into the ACS Golf Scale. So we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. Distance, 2 out of 5. As I mentioned, I'm probably about 7 miles per hour lower than my ball speed at the moment, even though I did get it to 158. You know, 250 as well, should be around that 260 mark. But that's not the end of the world. You know, if I can hit this down the middle of the fairway 250 yards every single time, why would I care if I can hit another one 260, 270 and be in the bushes maybe, you know, 3 out of 5 times? I mean, that Cobra I took out, like I said, for that competition, it is an open golf course, but I hit out the 7 fairways I needed the driver, I only hit 2. And 2 of the shots put me in real big trouble, and I managed to scramble both those times to get bogey. One should have been a par, it was a tap-in par, and I missed it, which is really annoying, but, you know, it put me into trouble. The golf course I played, if I was going 250 down the middle every single time, perfect, absolutely perfect. So it's not always about distance, you know, it is also about hitting that fairway. There's no point of hitting a 300-yard drive if you're in the trees or you're blocked out because it's on another fairway and you can't get to the green. You know, great, I've only got a pitching wedge in, but you hit something like this, 250 or 230 or something over 200 yards consistently, then suddenly, you know, all right, I'm not hitting a 9-iron in, I'm hitting a 7-iron in. Or I'm not hitting a 7-iron in, I'm hitting a 5-iron in. Is that the end of the world? It's better, you know, having that longer shot than having to chip out of the trees or potentially losing a ball. So yes, distance 2 out of 5, but not the end of the world at all, because there's a lot more you need to think about when thinking of a new driver. At the moment, I'm going for pure distance because I've got a mini driver in the bag that I know I can get 250 odd down the middle of the fairway. If I wasn't playing a mini driver and I had the my fairway wood in, because some courses I'd do that, you know, my forward, then I probably wouldn't have that Cobra in the bag. I'd probably actually have a more forgiving model. I mean, I have a QI35 that I started off with this year. I'd probably have that in there to get me on the fairway. Sometimes it's more important to hit that fairway than maximize distance. A QI35 by the way is no slouch. It's just that it's the core model. It's not the low spin one, and the DS I've also got extra stiff in there as well, so I can really go for it. But anyway, moving on, because it's not a review of those two clubs, it's a review of this. But as I mentioned, you know, it's not the end of the world. You know, I came second in that competition with 35 Stableford points. The winner had 30. I did have the lowest overall gross score, which is always nice. The winner got 36 points. Actually, the winner and the second, they're both 36 and count back. You know, and the winner hit a golf club 200 yards on the fairway each time. You know, it's that thing. You hit the fairways, you do a good score. You don't hit the fairways, you're scrambling. I mean, literally one hole I managed to get par, driver on the other fairway, and then because I had quite an awkward shot in, shanked my ball onto the next green, and then chipped on it and made the par. But it's just, you know, it put me in a world of pain. So sometimes it's not all about distance. So there you go. End of that story. Moving on. Now, feel. I've actually given feel 3 out of 5. I actually felt the feel was all right, to be fair. I knew relatively where my misses were. I wouldn't say it felt the hottest thing off the face, but it was enjoyable to hit. The noise is outrageous. Titanium, all titanium square head. It is the loudest thing on this planet. But if you can look past that, it didn't feel actually that bad, to be fair. You know, I felt harder, worse drivers than this. No, it felt nice. So yeah, 3 out of 5 I'm giving it. Obviously not as nice as maybe your brand new drivers nowadays, but solid. Yeah, nothing to really cry about, to be fair. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Looks, I gave this a 2 out of 5 when I originally did this, but it does grow on you. It's quite unique. I'm still giving it a 2 out of 5. I don't like square drivers. It's square. I think what they've done with the colour scheme and everything like that definitely looks a lot better than the Sumo model the previous year, but it is still a square driver, and it's a closed square driver as well. Yeah, 2 out of 5, maybe a little bit harsh because it is, I'm sort of falling in love with these looks the more I look at this golf club, but I'm going to stick with that 2 out of 5. It's a square driver. We don't want to see square drivers anymore. Square drivers are dead. Thank you. Let's move on. Moving on to forgiveness now. 4 out of 5. I think this, because of the design of it and the fact it's consistent, you know, getting you on the fairway, this is quite a forgiving driver. There's quite a few hits there. I hit it and it felt stable. It did. Yes, okay, the ball speed did drop off quite a bit on bad hits, but it still found me the fairway. So that's why I'm giving it 4 out of 5, because it found me the fairway. There was no hideous slice with this, no, you know, whatever. It was just, you know, even, I know the golf shots I just shown don't look particularly great, but believe me, they all sort of ended up relatively the same, and they all would have found me the fairway. And I did have some, I did put in some of the really bad shots actually there. But yeah, I think it's very consistent. I felt really secure with it, really safe with it. So I'm getting it 4 out of 5, which is unexpected, but I definitely think it deserves it. I think it deserves a 4 out of 5. It really does. Now on to price. Now, the price for these is actually quite insane. So on eBay, so second-hand markets, you know, you're looking at, I've seen them go for £30, £41, you know, highest has been like £55. So what you're talking about, $70 all the way down to $40. I think if you can get this around the 40 to 50 mark, that's really not a bad price. I've given it 5 out of 5. You know, yes, okay, the distance isn't great. Yes, the noise is hideous. Yes, it looks like a brick because it is a brick. Even I am falling in love with this, which is really, really weird. The more I look at it, the more I find it quite interesting, to be fair. But it, you know, it is a brick. It's a square driver. The forgiveness, though, it feels stable, it feels good, it gives you that confidence in square driver, you know, and I just feel like I'm hitting every single fairway with it. So yes, as I, you know, really went to town with it about, you know, 5 minutes ago in this video, yes, it's not the longest. Yes, it's not going to get you your maximum distance. You're not going to win any driving competitions with it. Well, you might do, because you might be the only one who hits the fairway, because it is that excited club. It will get you on the fairway, and that's why I'm giving it 5 out of 5, because, you know, if you're just starting the game and you just want to get yourself on the fairway, this could be a great option for you. You know, £40. Thank you very much. £40. Get me on the fairway each time, and it gives me the best possible chance to score good scores. You know, I can't really. Well, I think I'm like 50%. You know, fairways and hitting fairways, because I, you know, keep a tab of everything. It's not great. Really want to be 70%, to be honest. If I want to score my best scores, if I want to learn my handicap, I need to be hitting more fairways. You know, if you're starting golf, you want to be hitting the fairways. You know, you don't want to be suddenly chipping out the trees every single time. And this could be the club that does it. So yeah, 5 out of 5. So overall thoughts about the Nike SQ Dymo 2 club. For the price of it, it's a bargain. Is it going to give you total distance? No, it's not. More modern day drivers are definitely longer. Is it going to give you maximum forgiveness compared to 10K drivers? No, they will probably give you a little bit more forgiveness, but the forgiveness of this is very good, you know, it is. Is it going to find you possibly the fairway after fairway? Yes. And for 40 quid, fantastic. So yeah, overall, yeah, I think if you just want to get yourself on the fairway for as cheap as possible, it is worth giving this a go. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Nike SQ Dymo 2 from 2009. Let me know down below if you ever played this club. Let me know if you still play this club. I'd be really interested to know. And if you did, you know, what are your thoughts about it? And also, you know, remember to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And one parting word before I go. So at the time in 2009, they had Tiger Woods on the books, Nike. And Tiger was playing the SQ Dymo, so not the Dymo 2, not the square version, because he said, in his own words, this went too straight. Tiger says it goes straight, it goes straight. All right, guys, I'll catch you soon for the next ACS Golf review. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.